Thank you very much, ladies. You. Commissioner, perhaps I can get you to take to the podium and tell us why you're involved in this year after year and why it's so important to you.
Thank you very much, Jen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to start by thanking Cecilia and Digital Europe, not only for organizing this event, but for your energy, for your commitment, for your vision for a European leadership in this extraordinary field of new technologies. So thank you very much, because you inspire us. And at the same time, yes, you are always here with concrete examples what that means: European talents, European leaders, European champions. And it's always a great pleasure for me to be here and to share this special moment with you. Well, I would like really to say that, like last year, it's always a very, very nice experience. And I must say that for me, what is really important, it's not only to learn what are our finalists and who is the winner, but after to continue and to stay in contact with them. I must say that I visited the office in Budapest of the last year winners, István Petek and Encompass, and I was really impressed how much they continue to be ambitious, but at the same time I have seen how important and what is the impact of this award. So thank you very much, because yes, you change lives, and I think that it's quite encouraging. So for me, I will use this moment and this today's meeting as an opportunity to remind us the importance of building a pan-European innovation ecosystem. A pan-European innovation ecosystem that is fit for purpose, inclusive, cohesive, so that all innovators, and I insist, in software and hardware, in digital, biological, or nanotechnologies, benefit from this vibrant pan-European innovation ecosystem. And first of all, allow me to insist on the key message that I passed last year in this same forum. I'm very optimistic about the future of innovation in Europe. I believe that if we work together, the European Union will become the global powerhouse for innovation and startups. And my confidence in the innovation capacity of the European Union has been confirmed by the latest data from 21. And I would like to share some of them with you. For example, the level of funding for startups has grown 3 times more than in 2020. The number of unicorns has more than doubled from 44 to 89. And 2022 is also very promising with new unicorns. And there is another important fact: there is as much investment in early stage startups in Europe as in the United States. Nevertheless, yes, we are never satisfied. The European Union can do better. Europe has plenty of talents, plenty of startups. There are strong bases for strengthening the capacity to support our startups, to support our innovators, to scale up all their brilliant ideas, because the objective is not only to have startups, but to help them grow, to create jobs, and to become champions and leaders. And allow me at this moment to share with you what my team and we are working on to create this new European innovation agenda with citizens and stakeholders like you. Just to tell you that the last European strategy on innovation, that was in 2011. I believe that we don't live anymore in the same world. At the same time, we don't need another strategy. We need an action plan. We need a clear agenda. And that's what we try to do together with my team, of course, with your help. And that will be my plea today. Please continue to help us to shape this new pan-European innovation agenda. Well, now what happened during the first month of this year? I would like just to mention something that is linked to all our efforts, because with innovation, we need definitely to build bridges. This year, we started with the new European strategy for universities. That's the European Year of Youth. I think that that's another occasion really to bring much closer universities with innovators, talents, with regions and to see how we can support them, because one of the most fierce competitions in this century, that will be the competition for talent. 70% of all European companies are always saying that that's their main challenge, to find the people with the right competencies, equipped with the necessary skills. And I think that that's the first time we have a European Commission, a commissioner who is responsible and for innovation and for education. That's a chance really this time to build bridges. And I would like really to bring to your attention that in our new European strategy for universities, for example, there is concrete measures for the first time innovation is integrated in, and there is concrete measures to create innovation incubators in our universities, to have innovators at school, and to promote these spin-out, spin-offs that we don't have so much the habitat in Europe. But we need definitely here to accelerate the pace and to help to change the mindset, because we know that in Europe, when you fail, that can be a fatality. No, failing, that's an experience, and we need definitely to change this. But on the other side, with my team, what was done during the entire 1 year, we met our unicorns, our startups, our venture capitals, our women's. I would like really to see much more women in innovation. And we identified 5 concrete areas for intervention. And here I would like to say thank you very much, Digital Europe, because you are part of this process and you help us a lot to shape these necessary solutions. First, what we need to ensure that Europe leads on deep tech innovation. That's fourth wave of innovation. It's our chance, because this time we need to ensure the necessary support that will connect innovators to industry, funders, and customers. I just listened to the previous panel. That was one of the messages. But we need to work with this ecosystem approach, because these ecosystems will help us use deep tech to tackle global issues in energy, in mobility, in transport. Second, we need, as I already said it, concrete instruments to attract and retain entrepreneurial talent to Europe. For instance, we are working on solutions like startup visas and new stock option regimes for startups' employees. Third, and we all know that that's a big challenge, we need more sustainable venture capital funding in Europe. In this sense, we aim to increase the share of European capital for innovative companies, which would also lead to companies relocating their headquarters to the investor's country. Fourth, we need to counter the lack of innovation cohesion in Europe. This topic is very close to my heart, because I believe that we have talents and future champions in all our regions, in all our member states. And I'm convinced that we'll be only able to take advantage of all our potential if we also support innovators in all our regions, including rural and remote areas. We know that actually there is different sources of innovation, that the research labs in Europe, and very often in this new wave of innovation, this is in rural areas, not only in cities, and we need to pay much more attention to this. And finally, yes, it's another difficult challenge, but we need new single market measures to increase the European innovation performance. Some examples to be explored are sandboxes that allow startups to experiment before their innovations reach the market, as well as public procurement for small, innovative economic operators. So I think that now, yes, the challenge is that we identified those 5 areas. We have examples of good practices, but we need to continue developing European instruments that can be available. It's good that we have a very solid base with the European Innovation Council, with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. But we need European initiatives and instruments that address innovation along the entire value chain, from education to the market. All in all, I think that it's clear our goal is to deliver a revamped innovation policy that can secure Europe's technological sovereignty and make Europe again the global powerhouse for startups and innovators. So please help us. I invite you really to continue to be the drivers of this new European innovation agenda, and don't hesitate to suggest concrete solutions, because you have the experience, you know what happened on the ground. So now I think that is really time to pass to this official part to see who are our finalists and who will be the winner. Again, I would like really to thank you, all of you, because that's a great moment. And yes, I would like now to pass the floor to Jen again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we're going to whet your appetite even a little bit more, because I know, Cecilia, you've got some statistics and some more details on the background of the Future Unicorn Awards. So tell us a little bit about that before we hear from the finalists.
Exactly. So, it's turned on, yes. So as I said before, I mean, there has been a huge investment boom, and there are actually more unicorns than ever before, also in Europe. Unfortunately, we see that the share of the European unicorns are almost the same. And as we said, we have a goal. We have set a target of 25% of the world's unicorn being European, including, of course, also our non-EU friends like UK, who has a considerable share. But we are actually only halfway right now, so we still have a long way to go. And maybe looking a little bit at the women agenda. So we also know that there's a very little share of the capital. Also, you mentioned the funding from the EU going actually to female entrepreneurship, and even in our own competition, we're just around from 4% and something against 15% of female founders of the companies. So with that, I want to announce that from next year, we will not only look at different sectors, so innovation and startups in different sectors, for example, green tech, and have specific awards for the different sectors, but also on gender diversity in the nominated companies. So I guess, as I also said in my intro, we actually have since last year 2 of the previous companies that turned into real unicorns. So it seems that we are super good at talent spotting, not only in the first round, but also really towards a unicorn life. I think we can actually say a few words on last year's conclusions. So last year we asked our scale-ups, this community of 80 great companies that we have created across Europe, what are the biggest barriers for your growth? And they answered to us, basically the regulation is outdated. There is too much insecurity on what's going on with all this regulation on tech. We heard it from Daniela before. She said, we're there and our clients get like, can we keep the data? Where do we put the data? What about this GDPR that is not in one place and not the other? Then bridging market fragmentation, that we are still a continent of, we used to be 28, now we're 27, 27 different member states with very, very different rules, or at least very different implementation of rules, which is very, very heavy. If you are 25 people, I mean, you don't have 60 lawyers to hang around and tell you what you can do and can't do. And it takes me to one important point, which is also here on the 5th one, data availability. If you have to go and knock doors and ask, can I get your data? And you say, well, I'm not sure it's GDPR compliant, so if you can just make sure it is. And then you go and you knock the next door and you say, well, these are different. We do things differently. So how do we actually move forward these data spaces? My goal with the data spaces and the whole Gaia X thing is, can we actually have data availability that with equal rights for big and small companies? So companies can go to one place and get access to data to innovate and know that they are non-biased, know that they are GDPR compliant, know that they are kept within cloud solutions that are compliant with the current rules. So I don't think we need more rules. We need better implementation. And as not least the commissioner said, access to talent. It is amazing. We can fly to the moon, and actually we did for a while, but we cannot forecast skills. How do we transform our educational system? Not at the speed of it will take 10 years to change the curricula, but how do we actually make sure that, in secondary school, that we have coding, that we have, online rights and cybersecurity training. So we actually have digital literacy coming out of the public schools. So with this, I think we can move on to reveal who the three candidates are.
We can indeed. So I have the very pleasure of inviting to the stage our three shortlisted. As you say, lots of applicants, but these are the top three. From the UK, Circular enables industries to track materials used in manufacturing and recycling chains for responsible sourcing and sustainability. Representing Circular, we will have Douglas Johnson Hernsden, who is the CEO. Fazla Gida from Turkey is a management system that looks at how to donate, recycle, and resell food surplus. And we have Olcay Silalo, who is the co-founder, joining us. And last but not least, ZenJob from Germany describes itself as Netflix for jobs, putting together businesses and workers and representing them. Its co-founder and managing director, Frederick Fanning. Gentlemen, if you could, please make your way to the stage. And perhaps we could have a look at our unicorn that we've had you all attempting to draw, rather like trying to pin the tail on the donkey. Let's see how you've done. Is it ready for us to have a look at? I can see that they're going to try and find it because people have been clicking away at home trying to build a unicorn. And as you can see, it's absolutely terrible. So I think that's a lovely visual illustration of how difficult it is to collaborate and build a unicorn. So I'm going to hand the floor over. First, Frederick, let's start with you there in the middle. Tell us about your business and why you're a future unicorn.
Wow, thank you very much. And it's really amazing to be here. And thanks, Commissioner, also that we have the chance today to talk to you a bit. Yes, so we are ZenJob. We are, I think you can say, a technology-driven on-demand staffing agency from Germany, which means in the end that we want to provide a platform where you can decide when you want to work, for whom you want to work, for how much you want to work, so that we can empower the workforce of the future. What we did is we built a technology on the B2C side with different apps, and we did the same on the B2B side, so you can have a software where you can really control everything. It needs to be fast, it needs to have a high quality, and it needs to be seamless, so admin free. What we did is that we started 6 years ago in Germany, in Berlin. We are now Germany-wide running. We launched the Netherlands. We are about to launch the UK. We are around 365, I think I checked this morning, people now at ZenJob internally. We have around 30,000 talents working for us externally, mainly students, and we're cooperating with around 5,000 companies. And yes, we are again very excited to be here and looking forward to the event.
Well, thank you. Olcay, you told me Fazla Gida actually means surplus food. So how did you come up with what the actual business concept is?
So actually, we started examining the food waste problem. And when we checked out the literature study, we saw that there's a food recovery hierarchy in practical saying how to manage the surplus. But when we had the talk with the companies, we saw that none of them has a waste management department. So they don't have the people and tools. They don't know how to manage it indeed. So then we saw the gap between the theory and practice. And it's a digital era. So we asked the question actually, if we build a digital platform-based unique ecosystem to manage waste in the best practices, can we solve that problem? It all started like this. So we applied the food recovery principles into the digital platform, and we have created a unique ecosystem. We only don't do one thing according to the food recovery hierarchy, which is at the very bottom of the hierarchy, landfilling and incineration. So any company who works with us directly becomes a zero landfill company, so decreasing carbon emission. And we help them either resell their surplus or donate it or make it animal feed in the industry or recycle in biogas industry, maybe some upcycle options. And currently on a monthly basis, we are donating food to the people in Turkey, more than 1 million unique people all over the country, including Syrian refugee camps. And now this year is the key year for us to expand in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, OJ. Douglas, Circular is looking at tracking materials, so supply chains and so on. There's been a huge interest in that for obvious reasons in the last couple of years. Tell me a bit about the origins of your business and whether the pandemic has had an effect.
Yeah, sometimes lucky timing plays a part too. Firstly, though, thank you very much for shortlisting us to get us to this stage. And one of the themes from today, of course, has been around gender diversity. We're 56% female, which is virtually unheard of in an early stage technology business, or now growth stage technology business. So Circular's business is traceability in complex industrial supply chains. 50% of the global carbon emissions are accounted for by 8 supply chains, including automotive, aerospace, construction, food, textiles, and others. That means that our collective consumption of stuff is massively energy consumptive and therefore generating a vast amount of carbon, which means that as we, for example, try to buy electric vehicles, we're not necessarily going to make the planet better. Therefore, we have to start tackling some of the difficult challenges, which is going deeper, deeper, and deeper into the tiers of the supply chain to understand not only the flow of materials, where are things coming from, and are we sourcing them responsibly, either from a human rights or environmental protection perspective, but increasingly to attribute a slice of the carbon emissions that are added by each participant in the supply chain in order to understand inherited carbon emissions. You cannot manage something you cannot measure. It is a massive data challenge, and it's global. So although we're based in London, headquartered in London, which is where we were founded, we're very proudly European. I have to say that in the days of post-Brexit, but actually increasingly global. We now have offices in Singapore, Australia, US, and lots of other places, as well as, of course, Ireland and Germany. So thank you for having us here.
Well, thank you all three of you, and very well done. Of course, one thing that I'm sure strikes everyone is that they're all aiming towards, all three of you, a sustainable. So we're even chiming in with this twin transition towards more green, more sustainable future, as well as using the digital tools in a way that really will drive growth and the economy. Commissioner, I'm sure you've noted that as well. What more would you like to know from any of our 3 finalists?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, because it's a great pleasure to have you here with us. Maybe one question for each of our finalists. Fred, you started with one of the main issues, it's talent gap, because your company is exactly doing that, to see how companies can find the right candidates and how people can find the right job. So my question is very simple. What you'd like to see as done at European level in order to facilitate the life and to help much more, to support much more companies like yours?
We know that is a very big challenge in the end, but it must be around the harmonization of labor and social security law. So what we can see from a pure business model point of view already is that when we want to expand our business to other countries, that it is quite a challenge within Europe to do so. So even though a country might be interesting from a commercial point of view, it maybe legal will say no to it. It's just it will be always a challenge to have this unified market as long as we have social security and labor law, which is so different. And then internally, it's actually completely the same, right? We are also looking for the best talent at Zenjob to hire them in Berlin, in Amsterdam, or somewhere else. And I think this goes again in the same direction of trying to understand how can we ensure that this place in Europe is providing the opportunity that you can move around, that you can be actually everywhere, and it doesn't really make a difference. And I think the only thing how to reach this is by harmonizing as much as we can, obviously accepting the differences between the countries as well, labor and social security law.
Okay, next time I want to have you with me and commissioners meet in our council ministerial meetings, because our member states really should much more listen to this message. But I think that yes, maybe here there is a little bit of field of improvement in our cooperation with Commissioner Smith, because for this social field, and especially when we talk about candidates and companies and workers, we are working together with him. But on my side, I think that at European level, we can a little bit push for the Europass, for the micro-credentials, for the individual learning accounts, and to see how we can harmonize in the field of our competencies. But thank you very much. Maybe another question is for Fazla and Olcay. Well, I think that it was really amazing to see what are your efforts, but my question is about data. what are your difficulties when you'd like to have access and use of your data for green? Because if I understand, there is maybe some challenges.
Yeah, very good one. Because food waste problem occurs in different parts of the supply chain, first of all. And if you want to tackle the problem, you need to tap into the different parts in the supply chain, and the data is very fragmented in the whole value chain. First of all, we designed the platform and our approach from day zero to get all these data from different parts. And second thing is that, of course, there's a privacy problem in the data. So not every company gives the data as much as we want, and also country regulations in some countries also against getting all the data in the right quality to be able to analyze it. But however, where we are, there's more than 1 million unique SKU data in our platform, specifically from like barcode level to the packaging heights, etc. So that we have the seasonality data of the surplus, the trends, and also like the delist informations, what happens in the unique times like COVID era. Different data are piled in the system, and we are benefiting from the machine learning and AI to use this data and also separate the food according to the food recovery hierarchy. So one of the very interesting things we have done in our thing using the data is that the platform actually itself can decide what the food at that specific moment uploaded to the platform should be done. Like if it is should be used in donation or animal feed, the platform can decide, create the listings in an automated way, and make the matchmaking according to the best carbon emission results as well. So this is kind of very unique because in food management, you are fighting against time pressure. It's getting spoiled in one day, and you are fighting against hours, not even days. So in that perspective, we are using the data in that way.
Okay, thank you very much. I will take note of this because I think that maybe we can do something more with the results and data that we have when the projects are financed by Horizon Europe are funded, because I think that now we have created this platform where we can have all these data available. After all, it's public funding, but we didn't make a link between the reducing food waste and how this can help companies like yours. But that's one of our priorities. So I very much hope that the next time when we'll meet each other, there will be some positive developments. Okay, thank you very much. Now, Doug, maybe, what I understood is that your work is really pioneering. You have this transparency, sustainability for the supply chain. So, we know what happened in our relations with UK. Please don't ask me about the association to Horizon Europe. But my question is, how can we strengthen the cooperation between the European Union and UK in this field to help small and big companies to cooperate much more in this green field?
Yes, thank you. Obviously, we all live on the same planet, so and we all consume things. And as we strive towards, for example, electric vehicles, we're all reliant on the same supply chains. And I would encourage that both the UK and Europe to work together on things like product passports and carbon border adjustment taxes, because that is the regulation that signals intent to industry about the direction that they should go. And that's being reinforced. Obviously, there's a general interest by consumers in greater sustainability in the products that they buy, but it also signals intent to lenders and institutional investors that ESG and these particular themes are very, very important. And ultimately, if you're, for example, a large lender to a corporation, and to quote Mark Carney from COP26, we'll starve the most polluting industries of capital. You need the sort of data that comes from the supply chain to demonstrate that folks are taking ESG seriously. So there are a number of themes there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Janina, if I may very, very rapidly a common question, because I said that during the last 1 year, we are looking for concrete solutions, and that's a great chance for me to have brilliant people like you together with us. So maybe just one case, if you have to identify one solution that you'd like to see at European level, and that will facilitate what you are doing. After all, you are using new technologies for good, sustainability, jobs, SMEs. What what will be your advice? What you'd like to see as concrete solution? Not something that we'll do in 2050, please, but something that can be doable and really we can realize it as soon as possible.
I'm happy to go first. I mentioned it already. I think carbon border adjustment taxes have the potential to massively accelerate our collective desire and journey towards net zero.
I guess I would also try to build a bit on what I was saying earlier to continuously try to understand how can we attract the best talent in Europe, whether they're in Germany, Italy, it doesn't really matter. And then also second, to continue to incentivize the big investments. And I think you mentioned it also earlier. There is now a great development when it comes to early stage investment. And I think that is already something what we didn't have 6 years ago. But what is missing now, the big rounds. So if you want to raise more than 50 million, you will go to the US. Maybe you're lucky in the UK, but probably you will go to the US. And I think if there is some sort of incentivization that we can attract that capital being invested in as LP in those venture capital funds, that's really going to make a difference in Europe.
I'll say two things. First, the incentive mechanism in Europe differentiates between countries in food waste management, and that is a big barrier in front of like expanding the solution within Europe itself. So then there should be an alignment in the incentive mechanism between the countries, first of all. The second thing is that either incentivize or encourage the companies to measure and report the surplus and waste data, which is being usually kept as secret, and that is preventing taking further steps. They can, if they measure and report, I think they will themselves start improving the processes. Also, they can start working with startups, but first they should be measuring and reporting. I think this is a key thing that EU can do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good answers there for you, Commissioner. Very much sticking to themes. We're hearing echoing. Gentlemen, you're all very accomplished in the art of the elevator pitch. I'm going to shorten it even further and ask you to give me, in 3 words, what keeps you going? What motivates you?
Actually, we started 3 words.
3 words.
Okay, the big problem and being a role model to the youngsters.
Okay.
Vision and team.
Okay, and Doug?
Passion for sustainability.
Wonderful. And with that, I'm not going to keep anyone in suspense any longer. Commissioner, if you take your place at the podium, I think you'll find an envelope and an award there for the big moment.
Okay, and the winner is Circular UK. Congratulations. Thank you.
Please say a few words.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. First of all, Commissioner Gabriel and also Cecilia, Digital Europe and your member organizations, thank you very much for this recognition. It's really special. And now I'm not sure which camera is on, so I'm going to look at the middle camera so I can talk directly to my team. This, guys, is for you. Well done. We have a global team. It's growing. As I mentioned, it's gender diverse. And the passion and dedication to innovation and also sustainability that you bring means this is for you. Well done.
Thank you. Now, of course, gentlemen, we have runners-up prizes, but if I could ask you to make your way over to the Commissioner, we'll get us all the 3 finalists and the Commissioner together for a group photo. And a big round of applause to all 3 finalists.
I think we need to wear masks.
Masks. Yeah, masks.
There is a digital